新国立劇場ではくるみ割り人形を年末年始にかけて上演しております。今回はですね、20回近くの公演を行いましたけれども、海外からもたくさんのお客様にお越しいただいております。新制作にあたってはですね、もう誰もが楽しめる作品にしてほしいということをウィル・タケットさんにお願いしたんですけれども、彼はもう本当にユーモアあふれる温かい作品を作ってくださいました。私がイギリスにいた頃に体験したクリスマスというのは日本とはまた雰囲気の違うものでして、その体験も今回たくさん盛り込まれていますし、ウィルさんの実体験もいろいろと入っている楽しいくるみ割り人形になりました。ご家族の皆様でお楽しみいただければと思います。
Working with the National Ballet Company on this production has been an absolute pleasure. I love the collaborative aspect that I get with the dancers, that they really meet me in the middle. It's not me just telling them what to do, but I try to get them involved in the process, and they've been wonderful in doing that right the way through, from the principals all the way down through the corps de ballet, and even younger with the children that I'm working with as well. So it's been a really pleasurable experience. It's been very hard work because we haven't had very much time, and so we've worked very, very quickly and very, very hard to make it. But in a way, that's better than having too much time and everybody gets bored. So I think it's always good to go in, work super fast, super hard, and everyone's got their eye on the same goal, which is to make this show really something special and really unique for this company, so that it will have little flavours and textures that are all about these dancers and their personalities, and I think that comes through. So when I started looking at the score for Nutcracker, the Tchaikovsky score, with Martin Yates, who will be conducting and has put some of the things together for me, one of the things that's interesting is the speeds of the way it's played have changed hugely over the years. And a lot of the score is played much slower now than it used to be, particularly the Prince's solo in Sugar Plum Padada. I was working with Miyako-san in the studio about trying to make a very clean classical version of that that's very close to the petit pas choreography. And I think in the whole ballet, that's the one thing that really is as close to the petit pas as we could make it. Structurally, though, there's lots of notes in the score from Tchaikovsky about what should happen when, and I've followed those very, very closely. But I've also followed the metronome markings that really speed it up.
When I first got together with Will, we talked about various things that we would do, and one of the important things he wanted was this little kind of quite funny carol singing boys at the beginning. And so I just said to him, look, I could try and find something that fits in the music without disrespecting the music, but just to make it slightly different. So I did that, and in two places. And yes, and of course the jig, which was a sketch that Tchaikovsky had started. Nobody's quite sure where it was going to go in the Nutcracker, but probably because there was the Spanish dance and the Russian dance, it was probably going to be a part of the divertissement section in Act 2. And Will wanted something that was going to introduce the cooks because of the way he was going to do all the diverts and not make them obviously Chinese and not make them obviously Russian. So I said, well, there is this tune which Tchaikovsky started, and he didn't finish. It was just in sketch and a piano, a little bit of a piano. So he said, oh, I like the idea. Could you develop it? So I wrote it into what we now have as the jig, and so that became that section. It was quite a lot of work, but very interesting, because obviously I had to think like Tchaikovsky and try again to be respectful. It's very important when you're adding things to a classic that you are respectful as you can be.
We were trying to really create within this particular design for the Nutcracker a world which kind of really journeys through Clara's world. So we're seeing it all through her eyes. Hopefully we're going to take the audience on that journey with us as well, and with Clara. So loads of visual metaphors, within the first act, within the drawing room at the Starbrum's house and the very opening on Christmas Eve, that hopefully then, as we journey into this dream world that Clara takes us through, we have all these metaphors that come to life, like a bit like a REM dream, like some sort of weird waking sleep. You're in this dream world with her and journeying through this mad cap world that she takes us through. So we're never really sure whether we're in a kind of a real world or a fantasy world, and that kind of it just evolves around us. So that's where we try to aim to go with the design.
今回のくるみはその音楽面で結構前回の部分と変わったものがあって、今回はこのチャイコフスキーの音楽のその原点通りのテンポでやろうっていうことで始まって、2幕のそのディベルテスマンの踊りも元のテンポに変わって、僕らからするとこう聞きなじみのないテンポだったりとか、イギリスっていうこう新しい部分が足されたりとか、1幕の演出面がすごくウィルさんこだわられてて、ドロッセルマイヤーさんのマジックが結構前半冒頭からたくさんあるんですけど、本当にマジシャンの方にご指導を受けまして、一から。で僕らもそれをこう音の中ではめ込んでこうバレエとして見せれるように修行じゃないですけど、特にドロッセルマイヤーさんは苦戦しつつ取り組んでたと思うので、そこもすごいこだわられてた部分なのかなと思います。
なんてバレエを知らない方でも知っている方でも本当にどんな人でも楽しく見て笑顔で劇場を後にできる、そんな作品が出来上がったなっていうふうに思っていて、特に私が好きなのは戦争のシーンで本当戦争の終わり、おもちゃの兵隊とネズミが戦っているんですが、その最後に両者がハグをして別れるという演出が私はすごく好きで、リハーサル中そのウィルさんがお互いにハグして別れてって言ってこう剣とか銃を置いてみんながハグしてる姿はなんだかすごく美しかったので、そこにウィルさんのなんか優しさとかなんか全てが彼の全てがなんか詰まっているような気がして、私はそのシーンがすごく好きです。